Okay, so here's my setup. I have two filters. Getting ready to put sand in this one. That's the previous one. I had to put in an extra 50 pounds of sand in there, so now it's full. This is the old sand that was in there. That what I did was I took it out of those filters so that the sand could actually dry out and clean, because it had some bacteria and smelled kind of funky because they sat for a while. But here's my setup here. That goes out to the pond. That's actually a crosswalk. It's a used to be a power pole. There's the cross member right there. Our local power company was replacing poles out in our area, so we were able to grab a few of them. This is not where it's going to actually stay. I'm going to be moving it to a different spot. It's not quite as long as I thought it was going to be able to reach from here to this spot over here. Not here, but over there. But it's a little too short. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be putting it over here on this little island to that spot over there, possibly. It may even be the main crosswalk from this spot over here and over here. I'll be walking over there to show you that one a little bit later. But here I've got, here's the pump. This is all temporary for the time being until I'm able to finish making the pond a little bit deeper and clean up the edges and whatnot. With rain coming in and whatnot, I kind of had to stop working on the actual dimensions of the pond, and I still want to swim in it, so I still need to keep it clean. So here what I do is I have it come up out there in that general area. I have a one-way valve that keeps it so that the water doesn't flow back down. I do have an air leak, so it sort of kind of will drain. So I just have to temporarily, what I have here so that I can refill it is I just unscrew this cap and just refill it with water when I need to prime the pump. So here I have this used to be a jacuzzi pump, and it is a 4.5 horsepower 220 volt pump, and these are actually 2-inch connections, so it can actually move quite a bit of water. For cost effective for the time being, right now that's just a 1.5-inch pipe coming in, and then it goes to the 2-inch through the pump. And then because I'm feeding two filters, I want to maintain flow, so I still have 2-inch here and it goes out. And then we come to here, and then I reduce it to 1.25 because that's what the filters require. So I got the tees off at 1.25 to this one, and then this one's 1.25, and we come over to this pump, this filter that's over here. And as you can see, I need to replace the labels on here, as I kind of don't really know what's going on, which setting it happens to be in. I have to keep looking at my phone with a picture so I know where it's going. One of the things I did with the filters is here is, let me get in a better spot where this can be more visible. So what I did here was the original pipe had an additional about 3 inches or so on the bottom down here. The problem with that is it pushed these too far away from the bottom of the filter. So there was almost half of the 50-pound worth of sand in the filter that wasn't even being part of the filtering medium. So if you imagine here, this is actually the bottom of the barrel. So these filters, these filter points here were actually way up here. And then there was sand to this line here. So I'm only filtering through about 4 inches, maybe 6 inches worth of sand. Down here, I had another 6 inches worth of sand that just was doing absolutely nothing. So what I did was, I cut off the amount here that I needed, and then I added on this end however much I needed. Now this is actually the bell end of the 1.5 inch pipe. So, or I'm sorry, the 1.25 inch pipe. So what I did was, it fit right on here without a problem, and then I just cut off however much I needed on this end to make it make this piece the right length. Now these sit right about here. Unfortunately, there's still some sand underneath that won't be used, but it's nowhere near as much as it was to begin with. So what I'm going to do now is here's some good, clean, only a week old, or at least a week old of my ownership of it, a 50-pound bag of sand. It's amazing that this little bag is 50 pounds. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour it into the filter, and I'm going to put the screen in there as well. Oh, one of the other things I did, you probably noticed it, is this right here, this cloth, and these zip ties are obviously not manufactured. When I took these out, and it was the same with that one over there, that's a different style. Those fingers on that one are actually about, I'd say probably about that long, so it has a lot more reach. But what I found out was there was grains of sand inside the grooves in here, which to me seems like it was reducing the quality of what this can do. So this is actually some leftover from when I did my septic. So I wrap this around. This will keep the sand from getting in those grooves, but yet it'll still allow it to filter properly. So I'm going to go ahead and put these into the filter, and I'll start putting the sand in, and I'll show you when I'm partially got it filled. Okay, so here we go. I had to put some tape over top of the pipe so the sand doesn't go down inside the pipe. That would be a bad thing. And let's see if I can get this to where you can see the sand. There we go. Now see, this is actually about halfway up, so you can see that sand there, and then if we were to take a look from the outside, that sand is about that high up. So we have this much volume that there is no sand, and that's where I'm going to put the rest of what used to be in there. I'm going to put it on top. So the way that these work is the water from the pool or the pond or whatever comes in through here, goes through the valve here, goes down through, or no, I'm sorry, sprays down over the top and is forced down through the sand, and then goes in through those little fingers, and then comes back up through here, back through here, and then goes out through the outlet port, and then continues on back to the water source. And that's how the way that these particular ones work. And then when you want to clean the sand, you reverse the flow so that it goes down through here and then comes up through this way and sort of bubbles up through the sand, and then we discharge the nasty out so that it doesn't end up getting mixed in with back into the pool or the pond. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish filling this up with the rest of this sand, and it'll end up being probably about here. There is a line here, and I think that's where the sand is supposed to be. We had this came from, I believe my uncle said it came from Walmart, and it only came with one bag of 50. So you saw that was way down here. And it was no wonder the things didn't filter like they were supposed to. So in these, the recommended thing is, I guess it's depending on how many gallons the pool is. Hayward, who happens to be the manufacturer of these, the recommendation is 50 to 100 pounds of sand. So I guess it depends on how dirty the water is, depends on how much sand you're going to need. And considering that I'm filtering a pond this size, I'm going to need as much sand as possible. So I'm definitely going to need to use the 100 pounds of sand to do the filtration. And that's the reason why I got 2 filters as well, because now I'm actually effectively doing 200 pounds of sand instead of just the 100. So I should be able to do it almost twice as fast. Okay, I'll come back after I have moved that into there. Now I've got it back together. I've got it in rinse mode first, because first, what it's going to do first is going to dump out a lot of dust from the old sand, or from the new sand rather. So I'm going to put that on that. Now you're probably going to see some water squirting out. That's because I need to replace the pressure gauges. There's one here, and there's supposed to be one on that one over there. Unfortunately, I took them to the hardware store, and I think I put them on the shelf, and I left them on the shelf when I left the store. So I had to find some way to at least kind of plug the hole up. So I just took a stick and screwed it into the hole. Redneck style, I suppose. Or necessity is the mother of invention. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fire it up. So what we'll see first, there it is peeing out. Now this one is already set for filter, so it's actually lifting the pipe up because it's pushing air out. And oh, I got one more thing I have to fix. I forgot to bolt it down. That would be this ring right here. Actually has to be tightened down. So I forgot to tighten this down because I was too much paying attention to doing the video. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it back off again. There it is, peeing out here again. And well, the fountain has tipped sideways. I will have to straighten that up. So here's the rinse, and it should be, yeah, see, it's got a slightly yellowish tint to it. So we just let it run like that for a few minutes to make sure that it clears up. Don't have any crap in it. So I'm actually going to go out there and I'm going to fix that and put it back up where it belongs. Be right back. Okay, so that's kind of what it's doing right now. Now that I've put it up. The reason why it's only going that high is because half the water is flowing out this way. And currently, because of the way this is running, there's less resistance through this one than there is through that one there. So that one has actually had to push through the sand. This one is just lifting the sand up to do the job. So I'm going to switch it over to actually switch it over to backwash, which is that one. And actually, that's what I should have had it started off with to begin with. So this water actually should get a little dirty. Yeah, you start seeing it's starting to bring in particulates now. It's no longer as clean as it was. So there's some nasty stuff that's taken out of that sand. So I'll let that run for, I don't know, maybe another 30 seconds or so, I suppose. I don't have to let it run very long. Actually, that looks like that's probably just about right. Okay, now I need to put it on rinse. Let it sit there for a spell. So put it on rinse. Whoops, that's Spencer. Put it on rinse for a moment. Let it clean. So actually, you're supposed to be able to see it right here, but this bulb, this glass bulb, needs to actually be replaced because it's supposed to look like this one here. How you can see right through it. So that's the way this one's supposed to be. It's clouded up. I don't think this one's actually glass. I think it's like Lexan or something. Because you can see it's cracked like headlight lens does. so I need to replace this one with an actual glass one like that one is over there. Okay, so now we're going to switch it over to filter mode. And now that both of them are pushing you can see how much higher up the filter is pushing up. And actually, if I was to put both of these on bypass mode, so that's not actually going, it just comes in and then goes right back out. That'll shoot probably another, I don't know, maybe another 6 feet, 8 feet maybe, because it reduces down. So like this right here is 1.25 inches, goes all the way down, and then right at the very tip, I have it reduced down to 1 inch. I could put in a future section, I'll go ahead and I'll show how I actually built that. And I can change the fountain heads so that I can do different patterns, or maybe I can even go down to a 3/4 inch on that and make it even go even higher. So I'm gonna let this run for a little while and we'll see how it goes. Battery's about dead, so I will probably come back tomorrow after I've recharged the phone. And then I'll do a little bit of walk around the pond and show where I'm working at, kind of things I'm wanting to do. Bye.